So, what's up, guys? My name's Hugo Heralm, and I wanted to show you my art progress since I started to drawing 6 months ago. So, I first started drawing on an iPad Pro. My father bought an iPad, and also he bought the Apple Pencil, and that's kind of what got me into drawing because I really loved how the Apple Pencil felt on the iPad Pro. So my very first drawing was this Scarlet. I used to draw when I was a child. Then I later give up on it, but that iPad Pro, that feeling really get me going again. So this Scarlet was the very first complete drawing I actually made on the iPad. It looks pretty good, but I think it looks pretty decent for being my first try. So I really sucked at drawing backgrounds, and I still do suck at drawing backgrounds. But I believe the Scarlet was pretty fine. My second drawing was this katana, and it's still one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I really love how it ended up. So I used Nick from one artist from YouTube, which was trying to draw first with grayscales and then put on the color using hard brushes instead of soft brushes. I ended up using also soft brushes because I didn't like really feel comfortable only using hard brushes. So I really love this katana. It looks pretty pretty decent. It looks kind of unpolished on some points, but I mean, it was only my second drawing, so I believe it was really fine for that amount of work that it took me and the amount of actual practice that I used to have. So as you can see, my background also I tried to make it really, really extremely simple because I kind of don't get the structure of how a background should be, like the perspective, the lighting, environment, and also, well, all that. Um, so yep, this is still today one of my favorites. I believe I got the post from Sakimi-chan. Yes, so I really wasn't that good at creating my own poses, so I took reference from other artists. And well, this is the result. Okay, so this is where things actually got interesting because this Filia was my very first drawing with a drawing tablet. I've never used a drawing tablet and I decided to purchase one. It was, well, it is a Huion HS, no, HS 610, I believe. But this was the very first time I used a drawing tablet and also that I used Photoshop because on the iPad I was using Sketchbook, I believe. And so on computer I decided to use Photoshop. And it was at first kind of weird the feeling that the drawing tablet gave me. I wasn't used to using neither the electronic pen and also neither the Photoshop, but I believe it looks fine. I guess some colors I actually don't like them, and also the structure of the drawing it's kind of weird to me. So the hair it looks kind of different than rather the body, because I was trying to render the hair with a different style, but it ended up looking like glowy fur, and it didn't like me. So I instead changed to just a hard brush with uh, different hue values. So that's how it ended up. I mean, I still believe for being my first try with that drawing tablet, it ended up well. So really, I really like this one also. And now this is by far my favorite drawing I've ever created, I've ever drawn since I started. I don't know how I actually pulled this one off. I really love how everything turned out. This Melina just to me looks pretty perfect for pretty much what I was able to do on that time. I created this like 3 months after I first tried to draw. And I mean, I was so surprised how it ended up. Even the background, it looks amazing. The lighting, the actual structure of the drawing, the pose, and I I was also trying to learn how to get textures right. So as you can see, I wanted to make like all these outfit formula, look like a bit like latex or silicone, like or vinyl nylon. And I believe I actually managed to pull that off. Some shadows look decent, looks pretty fine. I still don't know how I actually made it, and if I try to recreate it, I don't think I will be able to do so. But yet, this is by far my favorite so far. So I hope you really enjoy it also as much as I do. Things got a little bit like weird, or not weird, but a little bit boring from now on. So about my fourth month, I started drawing with this technique. So it's kind of like a cartoonish anime-like style of drawing. So this was my very first I draw with that style, which is my Shiranu. Um, so as you can see, it's more line art with just straight up shadows. There's not much soft brush using. It's just hard edge, just with a little. Just I just use the soft brush, I believe, for making highlights, and everything else was just a hardish brush. Yeah, it's the drawing, the coloring instead is more like, yeah, some sort of cartoon or anime. I believe the reason I started doing this was because I saw a tutorial from Mikey Mega Mega. That style really got me. That style really liked me, and I tried to follow it, and this is how it ended up. So the thing is, I believe I got really comfy with this style. Don't get me wrong. I really like this style, but I believe it backed me down to a point where I was drawing kind of the same thing, and I didn't try to get better or try to draw something different. So I got stuck at this point. Yeah, so I continued drawing with this style. I decided to create kind of my own logo or my own character for my brand or channel for the future. So I created this one. I really love how it ended up. This is also one of my favorites, and I try to combine both styles so it looks kind of cartoonish, and color instead it's kind of cartoonish. But this time around, I also used soft brushes, especially for the hair, some shadows, and some colors between skins. So this is also one of my favorite ones and extremely good looking. And that's kind of the set that I stuck with like for about a month and a half. So this Supergirl looks kind of the same style. I this one's really good also. This Raven also on the same style. Even the background is kind of the same, like with this color frame, as you can see. This Raven, actually, I wasn't really a big fan of it. I love the character and I love the posture and everything, but to me the face looks a little bit weird, and I don't know why I left it like that, but that's how it goes. Um, well, finally, I draw this Kimetsu no Yaiba character. Uh, this one's one of the most fun I had since I started to draw, because this was like I really applied everything that I learned to this date with her. So I didn't look up to any tutorial, or I didn't look up for any method or any post in specific. So this came from my pure imagination. So this is one of I mean, it's still my PC background. So I really like this one a lot. At last, this is Sakura Cross Hino drawing. So I kind of returned to what I tried to use at the very beginning of my drawing race. So I returned to the soft brush, and I kind of tried to draw different tones on the skin and also on the clothes. So the hair looks also different. I didn't use any hard edge brush, and the shadows are all kind of blurry like. So also the pose, I believe I took it from Sakimi. I really love Sakimi, and her poses are just so freaking good. And I suck at doing poses, so I took reference on that. So I can later on study them and make my own poses. And well, at the very end, I wanted to show you these three drawings, which I returned to draw to the iPad because I bought an iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, and it was completely mine. So it was not my dad's. So it was completely mine. So I could use it freely, and that's why I again started to draw on the iPad Pro. So I first made this in there. Oh my god, I still love everything. I mean, from the line art, the glowy effects, and also the hair, the skin shadows, everything was pretty much really perfect on this one. I really love it. The face, I believe the face looks a little bit weird if you look at right straight up, uh, like directly. But if you look at the entire drawing completely, it looks pretty good. Then I draw this whip from King of Fighter. So this whip, uh, as you can see, it's kind of basic. It's one of my most basic characters and drawings because I didn't like do a lot of rendering on the clothes. I just pretty much created some shadows, give a little bit of more texture with the soft brush, and I try to put some glow effects. And some I also try to do another type of background, but as you know, I'm still sucking at backgrounds. And finally, my most recent is this Jill Valentine. I also really love how this Jill Valentine ended up. So even the colors, I mean, the colors of the background are also blue, so you could perhaps think that it will kind of give you makes you lost from the drawing from the centerpiece, but I believe it's not. So I also use soft brushes. I try not to use hard edge brushes. Skin looks a little bit more render. The hair also highlights looks a little bit different. I really love this one. This is still my phone background, so I hope you also liked it. But yeah, this was my final piece so far. This is like the culmination of my 6 months of actual practice. I've got a lot to learn by far. I mean, it's just been half of a year, but I really hope that perhaps in a couple of years I will be able to actually draw really good. It's just practice, and I hope I can get to the point where I could be as good as many professional illustrators because that's my goal. I really love how artwork is done by professional artists, especially for video games and also for shows, for movies. That kind of illustrations actually are really good, and they are kind of what get me into drawing. So I really hope to get to that point. And also, if you are, well, also are getting into drawing, or you got it as your hobby, or you are also trying to achieve to be a professional artist such as me, I really hope that you manage to keep on practicing, that you manage to keep on growing, because I mean it takes a lot of time, but I believe that all the effort is really worth it for what you will be able to draw in the future. So I really hope you all don't give up and just continue to pursue on your dreams. So that was kind of my journey of these 6 months. This is just a quick note, kind of on the end of the video, just stuck with me all this time. I actually have not safe for work versions of all these drawings, and I made all of them from the Jill, the Whip, the Sindel. I got not safe for work versions of all of them. So if you're interested on wanna take a look at them, just let me know on the comments, and I will try to post a link to a Drive file, Google Drive file, so I can put on those drawings and take a look at them. But just let me know in the comments if you're interested. So thank you.